Hi everybody, today we're going to pull fabric for our August Home Sewn tiling scene. I've got my big basket of fabric here. It's got all my fabric, the embellishments which just fell out of the bag, felt, micro velvet, embroidery leather. Let's see what we're going to need to make our August tiling scene. I was going to do the actual sorting and pulling on camera, but it kind of got out of control. Fabric was everywhere. And there's really not that much that we need for this month. Let's look at what I pulled. Fabric 1 is our background fabric. It's the blue sky. You can see the little green hearts. That means it's going to need fusible. I have a collection, a fat quarter bundle of Kimberbell Silky Solids. I pulled this blue to use for the sky. Fabric 2 for the trunk and the hut. It gives the same fabric. I went ahead and I pulled two different fabrics just for fun. For the trunk, I already have a piece of this. It's the Kimberbell Basic. It's one of the linen textures. Nice brown color. I can use this for one of the cuts. It already has fusible, and I've got the remaining fat quarter here. I'll have to cut another piece for that. And then for the hut, I went with the darker brown. It came out of one of my Kimberbell fat quarter bundles. I believe I showed them all during the April Home Sewn. I've had them in my collection for quite some time. I have one for each season. I'm going to use this for the hut. So I'll have two different fabrics for my tree and for the hut. Next is the fabric for the sand. I have the linen texture. This is the Kimberbell fabric. Again, I just bought some yardage of this for another project. I'll have plenty to use for this one. Hanging sleeves, I'll be using ribbon again. Back and binding, I'll determine the back and the binding after I've put it together. For the backing, I always go into one of my baskets that's scrap fabric and I find a piece that's big enough and somewhat coordinates with the front. I'm not very worried about the back. Looking at this, I'm not sure what color binding I want yet. Fabric 4 is our windows, and you can see it gives a measurement of 2 by 5. There's 2 windows, so we're going to be stitching out the placement lines and placing it and then trimming around. I have a couple pieces of Riley Blake Cloud. It's an off-white. There's fusible already on the back. I've been using that for previous home sews. They're about 2 by 2. This one is about 2 by 3. I think these are going to be big enough, so I'm going to put these down for my windows. For the water, this looks like one of the Kimberbell Basics with the swirl design. I don't have the swirl design in that color. What I do have in that color is this fabric. It's the same print that I'm picking for the hut in brown. I think this will look just fine for the water. I'm not going to order extra fabric for the water. That'll be my water. Further down, we have the embellishment felt for the sun and then the woven leather for the roof. I have both of those. I'll have all the home sewn stuff linked below. The felt they're talking about is this butter yellow embroidery felt, and the leather is this new Kimberbell embroidery leather. It's a woven leather. I use this on the Sippin' on Sunshine quilt. It's really neat looking. In the embellishment kit, we have the mini quilts, the twine, and the clothespins. I'm going to leave the twine and the clothespins in the bag until I need them. This month's mini quilt is the Vintage Boardwalk mini quilt. Really cute. I have not made this quilt. And I went ahead and pulled threads. I've referenced the Glide color card in previous videos. I think I've shown it once or twice. Here's what it looks like. I'll link it for you below. I bought it at Linda's Electric Quilters. You can find this at other places. That just happens to be where I bought it. I purchased mine online. Inside, there's thread samples. So this isn't a picture. It's not paint or color paper. It's actual samples of the thread. You can look it up by thread number, thread name. Occasionally there's a new thread that I haven't found on here. I think that's happened twice in the past couple of years. Pretty much all your threads are here. I think this is well worth the investment, especially if you do a lot of Kimberbell and you have a lot of other kinds of threads besides Glide. I did pull all of my threads, and I rated a couple of thread kits for this one. I have thread kits for the collectible Christmas houses and for quilting through the seasons, so I found a few colors of Glide. The rest of my threads are Floriani and Sim thread. When we're working on the August tiling scene, I'll call off the color. For example, I think this is for the color camel. I'll say switch to the color camel, and I'll show you the thread. And then I'll show you the thread number that I'm using, and I'll do that as we work through the project. I do have everything written down. It's right there if you want to take a screen grab, but sometimes I find that as we're working through the projects, if I don't have the exact fabric that they call for, I end up changing a thread color, but this is where I'm starting. I've got them all in my fabric wrapped rope bowl. This has been so handy. I'm going to link this for you below in case you'd like to make one of these. This has the embroidered base. It's one of Kimberbell's designs. I'll link that collection for you below as well. Now that I've got everything pulled, I need to starch it, put on fusible, cut everything and prep it. We'll work on this during the month of July. I'll try to get to it within the next probably 2 weeks. I have a lot going on. If you're new to my channel, check out the channel. There's lots of playlists. There's lots of Kimberbell. A lot of fun projects. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below the video. If you're thinking of making the home sewn mini quilts after watching one of my videos, I ask that you please consider using the links below. I get a small commission, but more important, it lets Kimberbell know people are watching and enjoying my content. I'll be back and we'll stitch out Home Sew August, probably in about 2 weeks. I'll see you then. Bye, everybody.